Alright guys, I decided I'd do part of a video. I've already gotten a good bit of this done, and as you can see, all I did was I took this and I brought it up and I thinned out that steel. Now, I did apex it in a couple places, but the point was not to apex it, it was to thin the metal behind the grind, thin that secondary, or that primary grind before you got down to my bevel. And I only do a primary bevel, I don't do a micro bevel. So basically I want this to come up and almost apex to the point. And so, finished maintenance of my stones, and I've been using them, so basically I get that angle for that grind on there, and I want to take it back. And I am making sure I'm trying to be real careful to maintain that angle. I don't want to roll this and round it. I mean, I could if I wanted a convex. This is a kind of a half-ass hollow. It's bubbler, and I'll show you. You don't have to, if you look, you don't have to take it all back. This really is the part that needed thin, but if you see, there's a couple spots. As long as you are thinning that out evenly, it won't matter whether you thinned over progressive times, and Murray Carter says it in his, you wind up polishing this primary grind completely as you go. But as you can see, it's because it wasn't ground real smooth, and I'm polishing it up too, and I've got to get this tip thinned out some more back right here along that grind line. But basically you're wanting to thin that edge out so that it'll start cutting again. And if I did a good enough job, I won't have to get rid of this knife. My wife loves this knife, I'll keep it. So, but we're about an hour, about an hour and a half into this after I flattened the stones. It took me about 30 minutes to flatten the stones. So you're looking at about 2 hours between the time I shot the last video and I'm now posting this one. So it's a lot of work, and my hands are pretty tired, and I still got several stones to go up to get that polish up to where it's going to be, smooth enough that it won't have it won't cause additional friction when you're cutting things like meat and things like that. So at any rate, I just wanted to show, and I'm gonna let me see, I'll lay that angle up there, and so the tip and the heel actually did apex throughout the course of trying to polish this. Oh wow, there's a lot of slurry built up on this now. You can see I make a mess. I was told by my wife I was no longer allowed to take a bucket and sit on the folding chair in the living room and do this, because even when you mop it, she says it still leaves gritty dust all over the floor, and you can see it's nasty. So I would have to agree with her. So all right, this is just quick. I just wanted to touch base. I'm not going to try and keep you with me for all this. I may leave the camera on for a little bit. I just wanted to say, first of all, thanks to Murray Carter for putting videos out there on how to do this, because if I hadn't seen some of those videos, I probably would have just been throwing this knife away, because it was to the point where a lot of people would have just thrown it away. While it was sharp enough to cut paper, the edge was blunt, and it wouldn't cut the stuff. Like I said, with my fisherman friends, sharpened some knives for some fishermen out here, and they were using it to cut bait and stuff like that, and I had, I thought sharp is sharp for everybody, I sharpened it to the point where you could lather up and shave. And they brought it back, and I said, Mike, I can't cut fish, I can't cut bait, it won't cut line. And basically his knives, usually I'll take a knife up to 5,000 grit before I hit strop. I used to strop a lot. I actually used to use newspaper or phone book paper a lot of times now, but his comment was, it wants to slide. It's not sharp enough to do what I want on the boat. And so I took his knives, and I didn't go above 800 grit. No, I'm sorry, I didn't go above 1,000 grit, and he was fine with that. For me, that's not even, I wouldn't carry a knife at 1,000 grit. It feels like a sawtooth. But for him to cut fish and bait and things like that, and I'm making a hell of a mess in my wife's kitchen. For him to cut bait and line and things like that, he needs to cut. that's what he wants. For him, he said it was perfect. 1,000 grit was perfect. So I don't charge him what I charge other people. I usually, he brings a knife in unless I've got to take a chip out. It's pretty cheap because I'm not taking it up. I'm doing it on this stone, and that's it. So I may hit it on a really coarse aluminum oxide just to take any nicks out, and then finish and polish it up on this stone, and then he's good with it. He loves it. He says it's perfect. You know, my sharpening service is based on your needs. So if you have any knives, I'll do kitchen knives. I'll do anything. So at any rate, that was just a quick little take you along with me. It is messy. Waterstones are messy, but they do give you a really good, fine, polished edge. Once you get the final edge put on it, I can feel that I've apexed it up to here. There's a couple little spots there, and then from there. So this, I could probably go ahead and just apex the entire edge, almost like a Scandi grind. But the problem with that is, and I do know why some people want micro bevels. I just don't think a micro bevel does it near as good. The secondary, the bevel, the cutting bevel, the secondary bevel that I put on it will last longer than the super thin all the way from here to there. Oh, it'd be crazy sharp, but it just wouldn't last. So I will go back, and I'm probably going to put about a 36, maybe a 30. A 30 degree is really, really good and sharp, crazy sharp. So once I get done with this, I still have to sharpen the knife. This is just to get the knife to the point where I can sharpen it. So I say it's Sunday. You guys have a good Sunday. I will talk to you later. Take it easy, YouTube.